There is a place every strong man must pass through. It's not a temple built of stone, nor a classroom with desks and walls. It's an invisible territory forged in silence, resistance, and fire. It doesn't appear on any map. It doesn't send invitations. But sooner or later, every man who dares to become unshakable is led to this place. It is called pain. And pain is the first teacher of every strong man. Before discipline, before clarity, before victory, there is pain. You don't wake up strong. It speaks in silence, in the quiet hours when the world is asleep, but your mind is at war. It speaks in the weights you refuse to lift, in the hard conversations you keep postponing, in the addictions you feed, even as they hollow you out. Pain speaks through resistance, and most run from its voice. But you were not made to run. You were made to endure, to stand firm, to walk through the fire and emerge forged. The School of Fire offers no diplomas, no applause. It doesn't care about you, not because it feels good, but because it awakens, because it shatters illusions, because it forces you to see what truly matters. And if you are brave enough to face it, to stay in the fire without fleeing, pain becomes the gateway to greatness. Want to master your emotions? Sit in discomfort until it no longer controls you. Want to be strong? Carry what others drop. Want to be free? Understand that true freedom is not the absence of pain. It's dominance over it. The man who has walked through. So if you are in pain right now, if everything feels heavy, understand this. You are in training. You are not being punished. You are being prepared. And the greater your purpose, the greater the fire required to forge you. This is the paradox. Pain didn't come to destroy you. It came to wake you, to rip you out of the sleep of mediocrity, to push you past imaginary limits, to remind you of the strength you forgot you had. You do not become unbreakable by avoiding the storm. You become unbreakable. His inner world resembles a soap bubble, shimmering on the surface, but ready to burst at the slightest touch of reality. In contrast, the man who has weathered storms, fallen, and risen more times than he can count, carries within him something that cannot be bought or learned from books, a core of steel, an unbreakable spirit. Seneca once said, "Just as fire tests gold, adversity tests brave men." This metaphor is more than poetic. It is a universal principle. Gold, when extracted from the earth, if it is not, it will destroy you. And then, in any case, it will cease to exist. This is a brutal but liberating truth. Pain is not eternal. It comes, fulfills its role, and departs. But what you build with it, that remains. Pain is temporary. The character you develop by facing it is eternal. Herein lies the Stoic secret. It is not enough to suffer. Suffering alone does not edify. One must suffer consciously, with intention, with purpose. There is a vast difference between being crushed by pie. Jesus, in his agony in Gethsemane, did not flee from pain. He faced it, sweated blood, wept, and said, "If possible, let this cup pass from me, but not as I will, but as you will." This is not weakness. This is strength. The strength to acknowledge the weight of pain and still choose to go through it with faith. Here is the most transformative point of all. Pain trains you to live. Yes, to live. Because truly living requires courage, requires presence, requires surrender. Nothing prepares you be. If you change the belief, you transform the emotion. Simple? Yes. Easy? No. But possible? With discipline? Absolutely. And here comes a powerful point. Emotional discipline doesn't mean repressing feelings. That would be self-destructive. It means, yes, recognizing each emotion honestly, but not allowing it to become your guide. It means telling yourself, I am angry, but anger will not decide my response. It means looking at fear and saying, I see you, but I will not kneel. It means using Third, reprogramming beliefs. Constantly ask yourself, what am I believing to feel this way? Are you afraid of public speaking? Perhaps because you believe that making mistakes is unacceptable. Are you angry at someone? Perhaps because you believe that others' respect defines your value. Every emotion stems from a premise. If you confront the premise, you weaken the emotion. A modern Stoic not only feels, he investigates. He goes to the root. He doesn't want anesthesia. He wants truth. Fourth, he can lose everything and still remain whole, because his fortress is not in external things. It's within. This man is rare, but possible. And you can become this man if you decide every day to train your soul. Marcus Aurelius faced wars, plague, betrayals, and the death of his own children. And yet he wrote in his diary, "Today I shall meet people who are ungrateful, envious, aggressive, but that will not affect." Topic 3. Discipline, the backbone of the unbreakable spirit. Discipline is not but the disciplined man is master of himself. He wants what is right, even if it hurts. He chooses the hard path because he knows it's the only one that leads to the top. The undisciplined lives under invisible commands. The disciplined is his own commander. Neuroscience now reinforces this truth. The human brain has two main decision-making systems. System 1, fast, automatic, impulsive, and System 2, slow, rational, deliberate. The first wants pleasure now. The second wants purpose in the bot. Now listen carefully. Discipline is not about perfection. It's about consistency. You will fail. You will stumble. You will have bad days. But discipline isn't about never slipping. It's about always getting back up. It's the ability to restart with more focus, more humility, more strength. That's what builds the unshakable. What destroys a man is not the mistake. It's the quitting disguised as excuses. The Bible offers us a powerful parallel. Everyone who competes in the games goes into tricky, that you can renounce pleasure without losing your peace. And here's a Stoic principle applied to modern life. Be more disciplined than necessary. If your job demands 8 hours, deliver 9 with quality. If your goal is to train 3 times a week, go 5. If the world expects you to be average, become the exception. Because that's what separates those who merely survive from those who leave a legacy. The Stoic doesn't aim for the minimum. He aims for excellence. Because he knows that daily discipline it thrives on prepared ground. Fourth, constant self-assessment. Every Sunday, review your week. Where did you fail? Where were you strong? What needs adjustment? This builds awareness, and awareness generates progress. The Stoics did this every night. You can do it every week, because a life without review is a life repeated. And the man who doesn't grow stagnates, and the one who stagnates dies while still breathing. Fifth, spiritual and philosophical support. Reinforce your mind with reading. Take a deep breath. Look around you. Everything that exists is this very moment. The past can no longer be touched. The future is still just a shadow. But the now, this fleeting instant between what once was and what is yet to come, this is the only place where life actually happens. And yet, most people live as if they exist somewhere else, trapped in memories they can't change, obsessed with a tomorrow that may never arrive. And by abandoning the present, they lose the only real chance, there is only now, only this breath, this thought, this choice, this action. This isn't just a philosophical insight, it's a neuroscientific fact. Studies show that the human mind is extraordinarily distracted. Our brains bounce from thought to thought, emotion to emotion, stimulus to stimulus, in a relentless cycle. Research reveals that we spend more than 47% of our waking hours thinking about something other than what we're actually doing. Almost half of our lives lived in mental absence. But how do you pull your mind back to the now? How do you stop it from being dragged into the shadows of the past or seduced by illusions of the future? Start with a powerful Stoic practice, the conscious examination of your own mind. 3 times a day, pause for 1 minute. Observe your thoughts. Where is your attention? Is it here, in what you're doing? Or is it lost in something you can't control? Gently bring it back, like a warrior calling his horse to the battlefield. Firm but calm. Take CEI, not because it wasn't offered, but because you weren't awake to receive it. Time is also the territory of temptation. When you abandon the now, you open yourself to danger. The past entraps you with guilt. The future crushes you with anxiety. And the present vanishes. That's why the enemy of the soul wants you anywhere but now. He wants you paralyzed by yesterday, distracted by tomorrow, because he knows if you are fully present, you are fully powerful, awake, anchored, unshakable. To master, 1 minute of courage can change a destiny. 1 hour of focus can yield years of fruit. 1 single day lived with virtue is worth more than a decade of mindless distraction. The present is the field where the extraordinary happens, but only for those who are awake. Wake up. Time is passing, but you can still choose. You can still act. You can still live. Not tomorrow, now. Topic 5. Emotional control. How to master emotions without becoming cold. 2,000 words. Have you ever felt like a prison? Instead of drowning, they learn to sail, even in the middle of the storm. Epictetus, with his sharp clarity, put it this way: it is not events that disturb us, but our judgments about them. That one sentence changes everything, because it shifts the responsibility not to the facts, but to ourselves. Were you ignored? The event itself is neutral, but if you interpret it as rejection, hurt arises. If you interpret it as humiliation, anger flares. If you interpret it as irrelevant, you remain. So how then do we achieve emotional mastery without becoming cold, indifferent, distant people? How can we keep the heart open and at the same time resilient. The Stoics answer with one powerful word: moderation. Controlling emotion isn't about suppressing it, it's about directing it. It's like a general before an army. Emotions are your soldiers, strong, intense, unpredictable. But it's the general, reason, who commands. When the general loses control, the battlefield becomes chaos. But why? At the end of the day, the Stoics ask themselves, where did I lose control today? Where did I react impulsively? What can I do better tomorrow? That brutal honesty with the self is what forges self-mastery. Every mistake becomes a teacher. Every fall, a lesson. Every uncontrolled emotion, a reminder of where weakness still lives. It's not about self-punishment. It's about self-refinement. And that is freedom, not being chained to who you were yesterday. But what should you do when the emoting? The scriptures echo this same wisdom. Better is one who is patient than one who is powerful, one who rules his spirit than one who captures a city. Proverbs 16:32. Mastering yourself is the highest of victories. Being patient when everything demands haste. Being calm when everything around you is chaos. Being firm when everything within you wants to break. That is not apathy. That is spiritual power. That is inner strength. And here's a hard but liberating truth. Most of your battles will be, and at the end of the day, there's only one question left. Who's in command in there? If it's not you, then it's time to take the helm, because the storm will come. But with a trained mind, an aligned heart, and a fortified soul, you don't just survive the rough seas. You turn them into your path, becoming a Stoic warrior, the daily choice for discipline, resilience, and inner mastery. Take a deep breath, silence the noise, and now look inward, because after everything we've explored, every tiki, now it's time to integrate it all, to turn these principles into living practice, to transform knowledge into flesh, words into action, inspiration into discipline. Because, as Epictetus said, don't just explain philosophy, live it. And here's the truth, you don't need to change the world today. You need to change your posture, your inner state, your conduct. Because life is a sequence of tests, of tough mornings, of unexpected criticism, of hidden pain, and how you react to all that reveals what you need to understand that becoming a Stoic warrior is a process. It's repetition, it's pain, it's frustration, but it's also power. It's evolution, it's freedom. Because every single day you act with discipline when everything in you craves comfort. You win. Every time you choose resilience when your soul wants surrender, you grow. Every time you say, "This doesn't depend on me," and focus on what you can control, you become stronger. Every morning that you remember you might die, you live more. Because while most chase distraction, you build presence. While many live for appearances, you cultivate essence. While the majority surrender to emotion, you govern your inner world. That demands strength, demands awareness, demands sacrifice. But what you receive in return is peace, clarity, purpose, true power. And here's one final reflection. One day, you will die. That's certain. It could be in 50 years or 5 minutes. What no one knows is, how will you have lived? Will you have been a prachi?